1099s. Are you being scammed? We're going to talk about it coming up next.
Oh, the habits of my heart, I can't say no. It's ripping me apart.
Welcome to another edition of Trucking with Loshawnparks, where you guys could have been anywhere else in the world, but you're here with me, and I truly do appreciate that. So today's video, we're going to talk about 1099s. Are some of y'all being scammed? When's the right time to do a 1099? What is a 1099 about? What is a 1099 for? We're going to talk about all that right here today. So I thought that I made it somewhat clear when I did a live feed on Instagram. Also, I did a live feed, I believe, right here on YouTube, talking about this, how 1099s are a portion of a scam, or somewhat of a scam, in my opinion, that is going on in the trucking industry today. Okay, a lot of drivers are getting into these 1099s and they have no clue what a 1099 is. Okay, they just know that 1099 means that they get all of this money and that's all they care about. All right, they don't understand how to even run a business whatsoever. And the whole purpose of a 1099 is that you are a independent contractor working under another carrier, for instance, or being a contractor, being a business person. Okay, that's what 1099 is about. Now, what's happening in a lot of carriers out here today, and even of the past, is that a lot of these carriers are offering these 1099 positions, and these drivers that don't understand about it are finding themselves in a world of hurt at the end of the year, or when it's time for tax season, or tax time, if you will. All right, what's happening is that these carriers are pushing the tax burden off on you as the contractor. Now, you see, a lot of drivers don't even understand nothing that I just said right there. They're like, what? Wait a minute. You just completely lost me. Yeah, they're pushing their tax burden off on you. So at the end of the year, well, with you being a 1099 contractor, or what you thought you was a 1099 contractor, or maybe you just didn't even understand the lingo of it, that they're going to write off the dollar amount that they paid you. Okay, this is why it's so important to understand business, because a lot of guys will put up videos on YouTube and will put up stuff on Facebook posts, or just blogs in general here on the internet, and they'll say, hey man, I'm making all this money, right? I'm making $23, $25, $3,000 a week. And a lot of people that don't really know what's going on will find that amount of money extremely well paying. And then, you start to look at the numbers, you start to add it up, and a lot of guys make the big mistake because they put 52 weeks, and they times that by, the 3,000, and now they're six figures for the year, right? But realistically, none of us stay out for 52 weeks out the year. None. Okay, so you can't actually calculate that you're going to make $3,000 times 52 weeks. Okay, freight just fluctuates. Things in business fluctuate. There's different times of the season where the weather is going to not permit you to be able to make that amount of money. Okay, and even if a carrier is offering you a guarantee pay or base pay and you're on 1099, well, still at the end of the year, six figures to shovel off that amount of money to you, and you're left with no write-offs. Now, a lot of people are going to say, what you mean by write-offs? Like, okay, so wait a minute. Am I supposed to be writing off the truck note? Am I supposed to be writing off insurance? Am I supposed to be writing off IFTA? Am I supposed to be writing off fuel? Yes, you are. As a 1099 contractor, it is important that you have things at the end of the year to write off. If you don't have things at the end of the year to write off, you are going to be hurting. Okay. And a lot of individuals will get with some of these carriers, and this is not to be biased, but typically the carriers that I see that do this the most are either one of two things. They're either foreigners from other countries that came over to U.S. and they got a DOT number, they got all of this stuff to be able to run a trucking company, authority, and all that stuff. Okay. Or either two, they are just plain outright owner operators who have a couple of trucks and they don't want to deal with your tax burden. Because essentially, if they have you down as an employee, or in your eyes you think that you're an employee, well, you can't technically be a 1099 contractor. The only way you can be a 1099 contractor is that they have to state that up front, that this is a 1099 position and you need to be a contractor, or you're labeled as a contractor. And then they force you to pretty much go out and get an EIN number, have you sign up to be a sole proprietor, have you get an LLC, things of this nature, and make you feel like you're doing something, right? But if they're not allowing you to write off anything on that truck at all, they're not taking out truck payments on your settlement, or you're not, paying for fuel, and you just think, well, I don't got no worries. This ain't my truck. This ain't my fuel. I just get $3,000 a week and I'm good. Yeah, I'm 1099, but I'm good. Well, technically you're not. Because when it comes down to the bottom line of things is that at the end of the year, when it's time to go see the Mr. Taxman, and you got $100,000 or $120,000 or what have you, okay? And he's gonna say, okay, so what do you have to write off? The only thing that you're gonna be able to write off is per diem, okay? Which is gonna go from anywhere about $17,000 to $20,000, just depending on how long you're out on the road for. So yes, will that help out with your taxes a little bit? Sure, it help out a little bit. Next thing you'll probably be able to say, oh, I got a cell phone bill. So you'll write off your cell phone bill. And it'll help out a little bit. Once again, $4,000 of a cell phone bill for the year. That still technically leaves you at between the $90,000 and $100,000 range, okay? And with you being in such a high tax bracket that way, I know I hear people say, oh, you only got to pay 15.4% tax. Well, certain statuses pay 15.4%. You don't technically pay 15.4% unless you are filing as an S Corp. Okay, which a lot of you guys are going to probably say, man, well, how do I get that status of S Corp? Man, that's for another video, another time. We're just talking about 1099 scams, if you will, at the moment in time. All right. So other than that, if you're like a sole proprietor and this individual says, hey, you just need to go out and get your EIN number, well, you could be taxed as high as 30%. Okay, which as a W-2 employee, individual, you're pretty much going to be taxed at that rate, because with sole proprietorship, you're taxed at basically still, even though you have an EIN number, it's still attached to your social security number. So even business still looks at you, or tax people or tax man still looks at you as an individual, no different than basically W-2. It's just that you get paid on 1099 and the employee gets paid on a W-2, okay? But you guys are pretty much still in the same tax bracket. So I don't want you guys to get that confused, that because you have a sole proprietorship and you got an EIN number that you're just on this business level. And you're still technically taxed at a W-2 rate individual, because you run the business. It's a one-trick pony show, okay, as a sole proprietor. One owner, one worker, and you're both, okay? So you're the owner and you're the worker. So yeah, you're going to get taxed at a higher percentage, okay? That's why it's so important for you to have these write-offs to help you out at the end of the year, so that you're not taxed at 100,000, so that you can be maybe taxed at maybe like 40,000, 50,000, 60,000, something of that nature, you know what I'm saying? So where it helps you out. And the biggest scam that I'm seeing right now is guys are going out, getting with these foreigner-owned companies and getting screwed and shafted left and right. Because at the end throughout the year, they're making all kinds of money. They're making great freaking money, right? And then when it's time for tax time, and they said, okay, you made $100,000 after all write-offs. Well, we're going to hit you with 30% tax. So how much do you owe in taxes? $30,000. Then the person gets the reality that, damn, wait a minute, I owe $30,000. Wait, how's this possible? Like, this carrier is screwing me. Technically, the carrier didn't screw you, okay? You screwed yourself, because more than likely the carrier is always going to cover their ass. They're always going to put in writing somewhere, fine writing, 1099 contractor. So basically what that means is that you're forced to go out and either get an EIN number, whether it be LLC or whether it be sole prop, and then that's the way that they'll hire you on, right? But the catch-22 to this is if it's an owner, operator, or carrier and it's their truck, their equipment, their fuel, well, they're going to write off all of that stuff at the end of the year because it's their equipment. You don't get to write it off, okay? And they're going to catch the tax deductions on that stuff, and they're just going to shovel you, or shall I say, push you under the bus, and you won't get a reality wake-up call until it's time for tax time, okay? And then what ends up happening is after you reach about $25,000 or owe IRS over $25,000 in taxes, well, they could hit you with a lien, hit you with a levy, seize your bank accounts, and what then? Okay, at that point in time, you start to feel like you have no other choice but to continue working for this contractor that's doing 1099 because, hey, you can't get a W-2 job, you can't go nowhere else because IRS is going to follow you. But then IRS has already seized your account, so it's kind of like already too late. So the one thing that I want to say, because I don't want to make this video way too long, is just that to pay attention. If you're going to a carrier and they tell you to be a 1099, the first thing that you should be asking is, what all can I write off? What expenses can I write off? And if they tell you that you can't write off that truck belongs to them, you can't write off fuel, the fuel is theirs. After you can't write that off, insurance on the truck, you can't write that off. We just want you to be a 1099 worker, okay? Go out and get your EIN, make this large lump sum amount of money. You have to keep up with your taxes. At the end of the year, you made $120,000. Well, it's off my books as the carrier because I'm going to file the 1099 and say that I paid you $120,000. Now you have to pay the taxes on it. Oh, but by the way, you can't write any of this off, right? So good luck with your write-offs. So that is a scam, okay, with the 1099. The only time that you should be doing the 1099 is if you are going to be 100% contractor. You're able to write off all of your expenses to the things that I mentioned, okay, as far as the truck, insurance, even if you have trailer payments, things of that nature, that you're able to write off all of this stuff. If you're not able to write off all this stuff and a carrier says that they're 1099, the best thing you can do is to walk clean away from that deal, okay? Because the money is the enticing, or the money is the devil in that contract, okay? The amount of money that they're going to offer you is the devil. But what is not being told to you is that at the end of the year, you're going to be in a world full of hurt, all right? I hope that this video helps out some of y'all. I've gotten several emails about this. I got several instant messages about this. I've had several messages about this, and I've been meaning to put this video out for quite some time. I actually recorded it already before, found out that my audio didn't even come through, so I was talking for the same amount of time right now, about 13 minutes. You guys are into the video, and realized that the audio didn't even work. So hopefully the audio works better on this one, man, and you guys will be able to get the meat of the message, because that's what it's all about, man. Hey, man, I appreciate y'all for listening. I hope y'all learned something today, man. If you are not already subscribed to my channel, please do go ahead and consider doing that. If the information was useful for you, hit the subscribe button right over there in the right-hand corner. Also, make sure that you hit the bell so that you can get notifications of any time I drop informational content, which that's what goes on at this channel, or whenever I go live. I go live every Tuesday night right here on YouTube talking about freight and rates, so make sure that you join me for that live stream as well, man. So until the next video, y'all be safe, don't do nothing I wouldn't do, like be unsafe, and as always, winners focus on winning and losers focus on winners, and we winning all day right here at Trucking with Loshawnparks. Oh yeah, before I leave, I do have one truck open over here at Parks Motor Group. I am looking for a team. Need to have 2 years of CDL experience. Doesn't matter if it's OTR or it's local, I just need you to have 2 years of CDL experience. Base pay is starting out at $1,500 per driver for that team. And once again, I have one truck that's open right now looking for a team. If you are interested, please do visit www.parks. I am Parks Motor Group, but what I'm trying to tell you is visit www.drive4 drive4pmg.com, and that is drive, the spelling for FOR, pmg.com. Put in an application. If you have any further questions that you need answered, please do leave me an email for that position, info@drive4pmg.com as well. All right. Also, the phone number is on there. Give us a call if you need further information or any details. All right. I appreciate y'all for rocking out with Lo, man, and I'll talk to y'all in the next video. Watch out for those 1099 scams, because it's real out here in the streets, okay? And you don't want to be owing $30,000 to IRS. All right. Be safe.